Hey y'all, let's make some strawberry pineapple roselle wine. And I created this recipe using ChatGPT. I've been wanting to make wine since like December 2023. I've literally had all of this equipment since then. I am also using red roselle calyces from my garden from last year that I dried. So what you see me doing here, I'm putting the red roselle in a cheesecloth because I'm going to now steep it into some boiling hot water, and I let that sit for about 30 minutes, I do believe. And then after that, I weighed out my sugar, and I initially weighed out 4.5 pounds of sugar, but later on, oh, don't it look so pretty? It looks like glitter. But later on, I ended up adding more sugar, and you will see why. Y'all, I should have let it cool down more, but I was really so ready and so excited to go ahead and start the winemaking process. So I squeezed out all of it using a Ziploc bag because it was so hot. And here I am adding the 4.5 cups of sugar. And once I did this, I stirred it up until all the sugar was dissolved, and I let it sit and I let it cool. I also decided to use frozen fruit instead of fresh fruit because frozen fruit is typically frozen at its ripest point. So it's usually much sweeter than, like if I got fresh strawberries or pineapple out of the grocery store. Also, I've made two other wines. One is pineapple, kiwi, and red roselle, and those are just juice wines. And the other one is strawberry and red roselle wine. And those are actually tasting really amazing. The pineapple kiwi is already finished. Something that I find out about pineapple, it ferments very fast. I made pineapple vinegar and it fermented super fast. So here I am smashing up all of my strawberries and my pineapple. This will help release the juices, which you'll see later on when I pour it into my bucket. And I'm using raisins because the recipe that I saw, it called for tannins, and I don't have that, so I'm using raisins for their natural tannin content. So that's the leftover juice. I'm going to pour that right inside. And I did put the raisins in a cheesecloth as well so that it would be easier for me to dig them out. And that is the red roselle tea that I made and added sugar to it. So now I'm adding enough water to come up to the equivalent of 2.25 gallons. So that's what you see me doing right here. And then I am going to add the pectic enzyme, which will help clear up my wine in the later process of it. Because that's something that you have to do. Once you rack it, you have to let it sit and actually clear. And that will help break down the pectin in the fruit that I'm using. So next I'm going to use my hydrometer to test the specific gravity. This will tell me basically the sugar content of my wine, and you need an initial reading so that you know what is your alcohol content at the end, once you're complete. So I was trying to get a reading of 1.10, and it was not high enough. It was 1.07. So that's why you just saw me add more sugar in so that I could get it to that 1.10, but I ended up getting it to 1.11. So now I'm adding my Campden tablets, which will kill any wild yeast and bacteria. And once I do this, I'm going to let this sit for 24 hours for the sulfates to go away. And then I'm going to add my yeast. So if you stay tuned, you will be able to see that part as well. In part 2, I'm going to show how I add my yeast. And then I will also have some updated videos after that, just showing you the process of my winemaking.